Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Going to be giving you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference ahead of our game against West Ham. So I'll go through the questions that I was asked during the press conference and I'll give you his responses. So Solskjaer sat down with reporters following Thursday night's Europa League match with AC Milan and revealed plenty of news, including contract negotiations with Beek, David De Gea's return to Manchester and injury updates on three midfield players. Also, Lingard was mentioned during the press conference, so we'll get to the first question anyway. You can't face Jesse Lingard on Sunday, but is it proving a good loan deal for you? Ollie's response to that was, yes, for Jesse it has really worked out. For David Moyes it has really worked out. And for us as a club as well, because we know that Jesse's position is a 10 and we have got Bruno there. So for me it was a no-brainer to get Jesse a chance to prove himself and to play some football again, and he has been really bright for them and he's finally back to himself. That's a fair response from Ole. I can honestly see West Ham getting Lingard permanently. I don't think we'll take him back at Man United. When he was with us, he did have actually one good period. And then obviously enjoyed a very, very bad period where he didn't score one goal or provide one assist in the league for over a year, and eventually lost his place in the team, so it was the right decision to put him out on loan. Now this is the second question. Eric Bailly made his 100th appearance, but he's out of contract at the end of next year. Are you hoping he will stay beyond then, and do you want him on a new contract? So Ollie's response to that was, yes, we are talking to Eric and Eric's representatives. He's keeping fitter for longer and you can see his performances as well, and I have been very happy with him. His playing style has sometimes made him lose too many games because 100 games, that is not enough for the period he has been here. He's getting more and more robust, so yeah, he's one we are talking to. I mentioned that on my last video, Solskjaer confirmed that Man United are in talks with Eric Bailly over a new contract, because Bailly's got just 15 months left on his current contract. Bailly is a very, very good centre-half. He can intercept the ball well. He shows that ability to play out from the back and he can be effective in the air. But my element of concern about Bailly is too injury prone, so in that aspect he is a liability. I certainly prefer him to Lindelof, and he put a very good performance out recently against AC Milan. I can't see us selling Bailly in the summer. This was the third question. West Ham are unusual contenders for the top four, so how crucial is this match to keep distance between them? And what have you made of what David Moyes has done for them this season? Ollie's response to that was, they have been brilliant. We played them in the FA Cup not long ago as well, and we went to extra time. It was a tight, even game. He has got players who score goals, creative, they defend really well and are really difficult on set plays. David has done a tremendous job that we know he is capable of. I'm very happy for him and we know this is a big game for us. Maybe it is too far ahead to City, so we have to consolidate our place in the top 2 or 3, hopefully. So again, fair response from Ole. So yeah, he's credited David Moyes. Now this is the next question. This is regarding De Gea. So it says, is De Gea back in Manchester yet? And if not, do you know when he is returning and when he will be available for selection again? Holly's response to that was, David is back in Manchester, so he's quarantining or self-isolating. He's touch and go for Sunday, I think, because I can't really know when he came back, so I am not really sure if it was Monday or Tuesday that he arrived back in Manchester. So yeah, we could put De Gea back in goal for this game. But I'd stick with Dean Henderson. Yeah, De Gea's been unavailable recently due to personal reasons, because obviously his bird had a kid, and obviously now De Gea has become a father. Recent narrative said that we are willing to listen to offers for De Gea, and we could sell him in the summer so we can make Dean Henderson our first choice goalkeeper. I think we actually value De Gea at £50 million. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer warned De Gea that his number 1 jersey was under threat. Sky Sports, which is a reliable source, recently said that we're looking at 3 goalkeepers who could replace De Gea. Now, we have been in talks over getting Donnarumma from AC Milan. We've showed an interest in Mick Maignan from Lille. And we've also been in for Jan Oblak from Atletico Madrid. Jan Oblak has a £103 million release clause in his contract with Atletico Madrid. But we don't need a new goalkeeper. You know, De Gea has been a long servant at Man United. This is his 10th season at the football club. He's made over 500 appearances in all competitions. And he's been our number 1 for several years. Few years ago, he was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world, but in the last couple of years, he's made calamitous mistakes, so reflecting on that, he's become a liability. Back in 2015, De Gea was close to joining Real Madrid, but due to a fax machine, the deal never materialised. I think there's a good chance he'll go back to Spain. Main explanations is because he was born in Spain, his relatives are from Spain, his girlfriend's from Spain, and he began his footballing career in Spain. The Sun recently said that PSG showed an interest. Now, this was the next question. This is regarding Pogba, Van der Beek and Mata. So he says, will Pogba, Van der Beek or Mata be available? So Ollie's response to that was, no, I don't think any of those will be available. We hope maybe before the international break, maybe, but I'm not sure. It is taking a little bit longer than we expected, but we have 3 games now and the international break, and after that there will be available for us. So yeah, none of them are going to be available. Juan Mata is out with injury. Juan Mata doesn't get in the team anyway. Donny van der Beek, he's got a muscular problem. You know, Van der Beek has played nowhere near as much as I expected anyway. You know, when Donny van der Beek's played, most of his appearances have come from the bench. He's only started 2 games in the league this season. But Solskjaer made an admission regarding Donny van der Beek earlier on this season, saying that Donny van der Beek is unhappy at the club due to his lack of game time. But he promised him more game time at the football club. He is a very, very good player when he plays. You know, he can play in 3 different roles. He's versatile. We got Van der Beek in a deal worth £40 million. And Paul Pogba, he's got a thigh injury. The last game Paul Pogba played was the 3-3 draw with Everton. Paul Pogba was getting the best out of him before he got this thigh injury. You know, he was out earlier on this season with an ankle injury, and he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. Now, as you all know, Paul Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. He's been relentlessly linked to a move to Real Madrid. PSG have been in for him, and his former club Juventus have been in for him. We've got to end this long-running transfer saga now. It said a few weeks ago that Paul Pogba is open to staying at Man United, and after making a transfer U-turn, and he's willing to discuss a new contract. Earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract with Man United until June 2022. And Solskjaer suggested Pogba could sign a new contract, and he revealed that he's happy at the club. As you all know, Minio Raiola is desperate to get his client out of the football club. Minio Raiola doesn't have a good relationship with Man United, and he has been criticised a lot. So anyway, the next question was to Solskjaer: is De Gea allowed to train and then go home to isolate? I thought the rules had changed. All his response to that was, no, I think he has got to stay at home. I think so. He's not training with us anyway. It is different if you travel away and compete, so no, he has not been training since he came back. This is towards the end of the press conference. This was the question: how has Ahmad adapted to his new life? Ollie's response to that was, it is a big change for him. He has come over here by himself, but he is coming into training every day and he is working really hard. He knows he has a lot to learn. He is an exciting talent, but he'll have to get used to the tempo and the quality and the level he's playing at now. He didn't play too much for Atlanta either, so we are gradually giving him more and more, but he has been hungry to learn and his appetite in training has been spot on. Again, fair response from Ollie. And I did say, didn't I, in regards to Amad Traore, he's a good asset for the first team. Scored his first goal for Man United in our 1-1 draw with AC Milan. It was a very, very good goal as well. It was a header and it was a lovely through ball from Bruno Fernandes. You know, he could be making his full debut against West Ham due to the injury crisis we've got. We got Amad Traore in a deal worth £37 million. We paid £19 million up front. And the final question was, in January you said United doesn't do too many offsides. Are United beginning to put that defensive line a bit higher up? Ollie's response to that was, of course, you do not want to press high. We want to press high, but it is about finding the right moment. We don't really have too much time on the training field to work on little details, but we are trying to feed them in. So that was Ollie's response to that. So that was everything that was mentioned during the press conference. Anthony Martial, as you all know, he sustained a hip injury against AC Milan. And I think it did say that he's set for a scan on his hip. Martial come back from injury not so long ago. I know Martial has been out of form for the vast majority of this season. He's had chances and he hasn't converted them. But to his credit, he's done well in his last 2 games. Marcus Rashford, he's got an ankle injury. He sustained the ankle injury in our 2-0 win against Man City. He did have the scan on his ankle. It revealed that there was no ligament damage on his ankle. It's just bruising and swollen. All is hopeful Rashford will be available for the second leg against AC Milan. And Edison Cavani, he's still out with injury. And obviously Jones, he's still out as well. But this will be a tough game against West Ham. West Ham are enduring a very, very good season. They are sitting 5th in the Premier League. And that is very, very good to their standards. West Ham are certainly in this top 4 race. I don't see them getting qualification for the Champions League because I don't think they're good enough. But if West Ham were to beat us on Sunday, they would go just 3 points behind us with a game in hand. Got to credit David Moyes. He's doing very, very well in his second spell at West Ham. But he weren't so good in his first spell with West Ham. The vast majority of the clubs David Moyes has managed, he hasn't been good. You know, he weren't good when he was with us. We had David Moyes 10 months. he enjoyed the shortest tenure with us. And we finished 7th under the Moyes era, and that's the lowest we've finished in the Premier League era. You know, he wasn't good at Real Sociedad and he wasn't good at Sunderland. But he did really, really well at Everton. You know, he was at Everton 11 years, so he was long-serving manager for Everton. And he's doing really, 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 really well now in his second spell at West Ham. Yeah, Moyes is going to be reuniting with Man United yet again on Sunday. And Moyes has made quite a few signings since he became West Ham manager. Obviously brought Jesse Lingard in on loan. He's made a fantastic impact. Brought Ben Rama in. He's done well. Also brought Craig Dawson in. He's done well. Brought Vladimir Kufal in. Brought Frederick Ibsen in. And also brought Souček in. And I rate that Souček a lot because he's made a fantastic impact. So they're the signings Moyes has made. You know, West Ham have got quite a few players that could cause us problems. You know, Pablo Fornals is very good. He could cause us some problems on Sunday. Mikel Antonio, he's another player that could cause us problems. They've got Lanzini. They've got Jared Bowen. You know, Declan Rice, he's another player that can cause us problems. You know, we've been in for Declan Rice before. Declan Rice is predominantly a holding midfielder. Mark Noble's still at West Ham. He's been at West Ham for several years. They've got a very, very good left-back in Aaron Cresswell. I think Cresswell's regarded as one of the best left-backs in the league. They've got Issa Diop, who's a very good centre-half. By the way, West Ham have got some injuries. Yarmolenko's been out with injury. Ogbonna has been out with injury. Randolph's out with injury. Masuaku is out with injury. And Ryan Fredericks is out with injury. And as you all know, Lingard can't play in this game. We're looking to beat West Ham for the 3rd time this season. Because we've already beaten them twice this season. We're beating them in the league earlier on in the season 3-1. That was at the London Stadium. And we're beating them in the FA Cup 5th round 1-0 after extra time. It was a goal from Scott McTominay. And the game at Old Trafford last season between Man United and West Ham was 1-1. West Ham have got a bad record at Old Trafford. You know, West Ham's last win at Old Trafford was back in 2007. So that's around 14 years ago. But this is a must-win game for Man United because we want to finish in the top 4 this season, and I can almost assure that we will finish in the top 4. Top 4 is now our aim because we know we're not going to win the Premier League because we are too far behind Man City. You know, we was in the title race at one point. You know, at one point we was top of the Premier League, but obviously there was a period where we dropped far too many points, so that's why we're no longer in it. I don't see us winning a title under Solskjaer. We haven't won the Premier League title since 2013, so we haven't won it now for like 8 years. We did win our last league game against Man City. We beaten them 2-0 at the Etihad Stadium. It was a very, very good result. It wasn't only a good result, it was a very, very good performance by Manchester United. And we could have won by more than 2 goals. You know, we ended Man City's 21 match winning run and we are unbeaten in our last 22 Premier League away games. So we haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. And I'm surprised the way Solskjaer approached that game against Man City. because he did show tactical flexibility to his credit. Because in the vast majority of the big games, Solskjaer's been tactically naive. But in a lot of his games in general, he's been tactically naive. I did say one of my biggest concerns about Solskjaer is his decision making. But Solskjaer admitted after the 2-0 win against City that we're still too far behind City to say that we're in the title race. I was very, very disappointed in the game against AC Milan. We drew 1-1. It was a very, very average performance by Manchester United. I thought for large periods AC Milan totally dominated. Don't forget they had the chances. They had 2 disallowed goals in the game. One for offside from Raphael and the other one for handball from Kessie. We had some chances as well. Harry Maguire missed an absolute sitter. He hit the post from a yard out. James had a good chance, put it wide, and Martial had a good chance and it produced a good save from Donnarumma. The only positive really from a Man United perspective in the game against AC Milan was Amad Diallo Traore coming off the bench and scoring his first goal for Man United. And Dean Henderson should have definitely saved AC Milan's equaliser because he did get a hand to it. We conceded in injury time, so now AC Milan have got the upper hand. We do play them in the second leg at the San Siro next Thursday. Like I've said in regards to Solskjaer, I don't think he's a long-term manager for Man United. But I think he will be given another season at the football club. Solskjaer's got to win a trophy at Man United to avoid the sack. Because he's not yet won a trophy as Man United manager and he's been Man United manager over 2 years. We haven't won a trophy since 2017 and that's nowhere near good enough to our standards because a club of our stature need to be winning trophies. The FA Cup is a chance of a trophy and the Europa League is a chance of a trophy. There's a lot of United fans that are rolling out. But to be honest, I think it's totally pointless sacking him. It'd be pointless sacking him at this present time because at the moment there's no one available to replace him. I think Solskjaer's getting a new contract in the summer. Man United are set to hand him a new, 3-year contract. Earlier on this season it said that Solskjaer's future was in doubt because he admitted that nobody had spoke to him over a new contract. But he said we'd wait until the end of the season to begin contract talks with Solskjaer. Solskjaer's into the final 16, 17 months of his current contract. This is his second full season at Manchester United. And a lot of United fans did say that we made a mistake giving him the job permanently and maybe we give him the job too soon. Maybe we should have waited until the end of that particular season to decide or not whether he is good enough for the job. But he did very, very well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. So that's the main explanation why we give Solskjaer the job permanently. Reflecting now on Solskjaer's been at the club, he has gained some managerial experience, but he hasn't got that proven pedigree as a manager. So that's another one of my concerns about him. I think Man United is the third club in his managerial career. Before he was with us, he was at Mulder. He won a few Norwegian titles at Mulder. And before he was at Mulder, he was at Cardiff. And his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. I think the main explanation why Solskjaer is still Man United manager is because he's a club legend. And reflecting on that, our board have a soft stance on him. Because we have endured bad periods under Ollie where he could turn around and say, yeah, he was lucky not to be sacked. But we did appoint him in December 2018 to replace Jose Mourinho. we've got to credit Solskjaer in quite a few aspects. You know, we are second in the Premier League. Some United fans have said he's overachieving. I don't think he's overachieving. Some people say we're lucky to be where we are because teams around us have been pretty poor. You know, we've got a very good away record. You know, we've enjoyed good periods under Ollie where we've been consistent, and there've been some games in them good periods where he got the best out of the players and he's improved certain players. You know, he's got us to the FA Cup quarter-finals within the Europa League last 16, got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season, did well last season in his first full season at the club. You know, Solskjaer has brought some good players in. You know, he's spent almost £300 million. He's also brought a few young players in, and I do like the way that Ole has promoted the youth, and he's also got rid of a lot of players since he got recommended in. And we went on the 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions last season, and we was 14 unbeaten in the Premier League. So these positives to take. Solskjaer has endured 4 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager so far. But as yet, he hasn't got all the players that he wanted to recommend in. I think in the summer, there's a good chance that Solskjaer will get the backing he deserves. Because we have now got a director of football. It's John Murtough. And obviously John Murtough knows the club inside out because he's been at Man United 7 years. By the way, it's our first ever director of football. And I said, you know, we needed one because I said it's one of the structural changes that we need at the club. And I said it'd be beneficial to get one in, you know, who knows the club and someone who's got that experience and all of that. But the board have not backed Solskjaer enough so far. But Woodward recently did a statement and he says the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So in that aspect, the board are backing him. We've got to make signings in the summer. In the summer transfer window, I'm expecting us to make around 3 or 4 signings. A new centre-back and a new forward are the 2 priorities. Maybe it won't be business as usual, like Solskjaer said the other week, due to the pandemic. He's only interested in bringing in players that will be a perfect fit for the club. So obviously, you know the news on Rafael Varane, don't you? I give you the news on him earlier on today. There's narratives coming out saying that Madrid are prepared to sell Rafael Varane on one condition, and that's if Rafael Varane informs Real Madrid about his decision to leave. You know the news on Haaland. You know the news on Kane. On my recent video, I'll give you the news on them too. There's been narratives coming out saying that we want either Harry Kane or Erling Haaland to replace Anthony Martial. We need a striker, definitely. Do you think we could still get Sancho in the summer? But yeah, this year's summer transfer window is the biggest in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial career. Like I said, we're going to sell players in the summer transfer window, so in that aspect we'll generate money and it will help us with our rebuilding process. Good chance we'll sell Mata in the summer. There's a good chance Cavani's going to leave in the summer, reflecting on what his father's recently said and that. And reports from Argentina said Cavani's decided to leave after just a season at the club. You know, we could sell Nemanja Matic in the summer. Pogba could still leave in the summer. Jones, I want him to leave this year. Do you think Romero will go? Will I like Axel Tuanzebe go? Because he doesn't get in R11. You know, there's a good chance we'll sell De Gea. Do you think we should sell Victor Lindelof? Because I don't think he's good enough to represent Man United. And, you know, Martial, you know, we could sell him in the summer. So we sell all them, you know, we'll generate quite a lot of money. But like I've said, in regards to Man United, we haven't been good for the last 8 years. We really, really haven't, despite, the money we've spent on players, because we spent over £1 billion in the last 8 years, and we've brought around 37 players in since Ferguson retired. Mistakes have been made as well in the last 8 years. That's one of the main explanations why we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been. But like I said, we're never ever going to be the team we was under Ferguson, and no one's going to ever replicate what Sir Alex Ferguson did. And no one's going to last as long as Ferguson, because Ferguson endured a 27-year tenure at Man United. He won 30-odd trophies, so he brought success to the club. But yeah, in regards to Solskjaer, we won't sack him this season. If we sack him, it could be at the end of this season or at some point next season. It depends on how things go. So anyway, guys, I'll back with more videos tomorrow. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.